Great to be with you on a Tuesday. Thank you kindly for joining us. A pleasure to connect with you guys on this platform. Maurice Covington in the house. Mo Covington, this guy a standout University of Virginia football player. This guy now an entrepreneur, building a business and a personal brand that we have to spotlight. This man a star, undoubtedly in the making. Thank you kindly for joining us. Give it a like and share on any of the channels that you are watching. The I Love CVille Show on iTunes as well. Give us a subscribe and follow the podcast on iTunes. We'll thank some of the sponsors that make the program possible. You know we're an advertising agency, and one of our favorite clients undoubtedly is Intrastate Pest and Service Companies. We will give you a 15-second snapshot on this fabulous business. It's a 4-generation strong family business. My company, only 2 generations, and my kid's 16 months old, so that puts it in perspective. 1969, Mr. Wells started, guys, with 1 truck and a dream to build a company. Today, it's 100 people strong, 4 generations of family, and a Commonwealth-wide footprint. I love entrepreneurial journeys like that. We also love the good doctor, Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine. Whether it's physical therapy, sports medicine, or chiropractic care, Dr. Wagner has your back. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to relay a comment or a question to Maurice Covington, and why don't we, Harris Tolbert, go to the studio cam and welcome the star of the show, Mo Covington, to the set. Mo, que pasa? How are you, homie?
I'm doing well, Jerry. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. This is rare on the show where one of our guests is dressed sharper than I am, and you undoubtedly have filled that right there. Maybe we should give some props to your tailor, huh?
That's right. Brian Alexander Bespoke. Major props to you.
You looking sharp, you fly. We start with the birth story, the origin story. We like to spotlight who you are as a man. You kind of gave us a teaser. Durham, North Carolina's finest.
Yes, absolutely.
Show is yours.
Thank you. Again, thanks for having me. Maurice Covington, everybody calls me Mo for short. But originally from Durham, North Carolina. Grew up there, kind of in the country a little bit. Played football, basketball, ran track, of course. Ever since I was pretty much 7 years old, I was always involved in some kind of athletic adventure. Traveled across the country playing basketball. Originally thought basketball would be my first love, but that quickly changed in high school. Kind of transitioned over to football. That's where all the scholarships started coming from. So got a great offer from UVA, of course, at the time, a great academic school, but also a great football program under Coach Al Groh. Decided to commit to UVA after my sophomore season, and that's pretty much how I ended up here.
How does a Durham, North Carolina rock star and standout head to Charlottesville, Virginia? I mean, you probably caught some grief for that, didn't you, at first?
I did. Well, it's kind of like the balance of wanting to kind of get away from home a little bit.
Understood.
But also be close enough where the family could still come, watch me play, and, I can get home on the weekends if need be. So just finding that good balance of finding a good institution where I can go and play ball, get a good education, but also have my family come up and watch me.
We're live, guys, across the I Love CVille network. Durham, North Carolina watching, Charlotte, North Carolina watching, Chapel Hill watching, Charlottesville, and across the Commonwealth live. If you have a question, comment, relay it to Mo Covington and any of the chat boxes on the Facebook pages you're watching. What kind of basketball player were you? I mean, you slasher? Did you have handles?
I'm definitely a slasher. I did not have handles, could not really shoot.
Okay.
However, I have a pretty good vertical. I had a 42-inch vertical.
Damn.
Yeah, and I'm 6'5", so that kind of puts things in perspective. So I was definitely a slasher. I grew up, I was always the tallest person growing up. So I always played the 4 or 5 position. When I get to high school, that wasn't the case anymore, right? I needed to be able to dribble and shoot and those kind of things. And I would have definitely gained those skills, but at the time, it was kind of like I was a tweener. I was kind of in between the 4 and 3 and couldn't really find my groove, but which is probably why I transitioned over to playing football, but definitely a slasher.
How about athletic, superstar icons? For me, it was Isaiah Thomas. I'm a huge Detroit Pistons fan. I love the Bad Boys. I loved Isaiah, the fact I'm not a big guy. Isaiah was 5'10", 5'11". He was a scrapper. He got shit done. I love that about him. How about your sports, who you looked up to in sports?
Well, I mean, of course, during my era, it was always Michael Jordan.
MJ?
Of course, MJ.
Yeah.
However, my favorite player was Anthony Penny Hardaway.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
He's a beast.
He was a beast.
Yeah, before the knee
watching
injuries.
him play. Yep, absolutely. He had those cool commercials with the Penny Hardaway doll. he was definitely one of my favorite guys. Yeah.
Now the coach of Memphis.
Yes.
And basketball. He and Shaq made it to the finals against the Houston Rockets, where I think Nick Anderson choked at the stripe and kept the Magic from winning a title.
Absolutely.
Penny Hardaway was a 6'8" point guard with handles, and it was nice to play with Shaq.
Right.
Let's be honest. Okay, so you go. What was childhood like? What was mom and dad like? What was the home life like? All that.
Yeah, mom and dad, they were loving parents, very, very, very supportive. They traveled across the country with me, playing Pop Warner football, AAU basketball. Like I said, very supportive, made sure I had everything I needed, from basketball shoes to cleats to gloves, jerseys, that kind of thing. Also, they're very family-oriented, so we always did things together as a family. You know, we had these big Christmases and Thanksgivings together with all the family. So just a good, good family, good family-oriented background, and very supportive childhood.
Was it always you were the best football player on the field?
No.
No?
No.
Really?
No.
I appreciate the modesty there.
Yeah. No. We had some talent down in Durham, North Carolina,
Okay.
believe it or not. I was one of the top players on the field, but I was, not always the best. That didn't really come into play until, I want to say, my senior season of high school.
What happened then?
I just kind of took off, man.
Yeah.
I believe I was unstoppable. You know, anything you threw up in the air, I would go get. That's just how I felt. And I was a top player in the state, top player in the country. But I had to work my butt off to get to that point. A lot of hard work, a lot of hours. Actually, one of my best friends, we played the same position, and for a number of years, to me, he was better than me. So I had to work hard because I wanted to be better than him. So
I love that. I love that. Gordon Fields says, "What's up?"
What's
Emily
up,
Perlin.
Yeah.
Emily Perrin says, "What's up?"
Hey, Emily.
Scott McLee says, "I see you, cuz."
Yes. What's up, cousin?
Blanda Wolf, Jessica Bailey, guys.
Yeah.
Amy Benson, James Watson. Give it a like, give it a share on any of the channels. If you have a comment for Maurice, relay it in the chat box. I'll pass it along to him. Talk to us about the evolution from high school in Durham, where you were a beast, you said, junior and senior year, to coming to the University of Virginia as a first year. I guess the bottom of the totem pole then, right?
Pretty much. I think the coaches always kept it real with me. They always told me, Mo, you have an opportunity to play. You got to learn to play good playbook, but also you got to work really, really hard. So coming into Charlottesville, I came in early. It was 3 of us that came in. I mean, when I say early, the day after my high school graduation, I was up here in Charlottesville, living with 2 of my older teammates, Fontaine Mines, Dayon Williams.
Wide converted tight end to the Chicago Bears.
That's right.
And who was the second one?
Dayon Williams.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was here very, very early. I was taking classes in the summer. I was doing everything I needed to do to be successful on the field. And, it was all about football for me. School too, school as well, but like football was like everything to me. So I was here working out with the guys, learning the playbook, spending time with the coaches, spending time with the team, just trying to affiliate myself as much as I could with the UVA and what they had to offer, but also with the program. So initially, my first year, I was actually kind of set to play the first game of the season as a true freshman. We have this personnel called 10 personnel, so you start 4 wide receivers and you go like this spread offense.
Was Hagen's QB?
Hagen's was the QB.
Biscuit, okay.
Yep.
All right.
He's a good friend of mine. Yes. So the Wednesday before our first game of the season, I was also on punt block.
Okay. That's terrifying, isn't it?
It can be.
Yeah.
It can be. I went in to block a punt.
Okay.
And if you guys can see this, I dislocated.
Dang, dude.
It's still permanently dislocated. So I dislocated my finger, and it's hard to catch a ball when you have a finger like that's swollen. Literally popped out of place. They had to pop it back in. And that kind of derailed me from like playing my first game. Fast forward, I ended up playing the 5th game of the season against Florida State, which they were ranked, top 3 in the country. We ended up beating them at home that Saturday night, which was exciting. But yeah, that's kind of like my evolution to UVA.
What is the mindset like? And I'm always curious of the DNA. I mean, you mentioned, I feel like, you put me in a room or you give me a challenge, I am a supremely confident man.
Mm-hmm.
And that confidence allows me from time to time to do superhuman things. It could be the biggest strength, but also the biggest weakness.
Okay.
It's a fine line of confidence and cockiness. Okay. When you're junior and senior year and you're confident, you are the man, one of the best players, if not the best player in the state. And then you come to Charlottesville, Scott Stadium, McHugh Center, you're a first year, and there are a lot of beasts around you. What is that mindset like of how you come and find that confident space again?
For me, honestly, it was preparation.
Okay.
I felt like I worked my butt off, and I prepared for the moment. You know, I knew what the roster looked like at wide receiver. I knew what my chances were at playing. So I just knew if I worked hard, I learned the playbook, that I had the natural attributes to be very, very successful. So for me, it was just learning, right, and becoming not a pro, but a collegiate player. Just, you know, moving like a collegiate player. So it was never like me saying I'm not good enough or I have to do it. It was me working my butt off, knowing that I was good enough, but making sure that I did all the little things around me so I can get on the football field.
Was it difficult to come to Charlottesville? I mean, were you freshly 18 years old?
I was 18.
Yeah?
Yep. I was 19. 18.
Okay.
I was 18. 18, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
day after graduation?
Day after graduation.
I mean,
yeah.
were you in new dorms?
I was actually staying with older teammates initially for the first.
Okay, because the summertime.
Summertime, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what was that like?
It was fun. I mean, I felt like it was, you know, it's cool. You're in college, right?
Right.
You're in college. You have
Away from the parents.
Away from the parents. You have freedom. You know, you're around girls.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing what you love. You're playing football. It was exciting for me. It was very, very exciting. Now, yeah, campus could be a little bit scary. It's different, right? It's you know, you come to UVA, it's one of the top schools in the country, right? So everybody's here for a certain reason, right? And they got here based on some great academic standing. So it could be a little bit intimidating at times, but our program provided us with great resources to make sure we were ready and prepared to succeed in the classroom.
Alan Goodwin says, I'm proud of you, Mo.
Oh, hey, Coach Goodwin. Thanks, man.
Give it a like, give it a share on any of the channels that you're watching. If you have a comment that you want to relay to Mo, put it in the comment section of any of the Facebook pages. I'll relay it to him. How about Damian Banks? Welcome to the show. Matt Hawkins, welcome to the program. Terry
Hawk.
Kiddow, Ball Hawk's the man.
Yeah.
Love Ball Hawk. I'm from the 757. He's from the 757. Let me throw this to you. Academics at UVA. Dude, I remember my first year. It was like, my parents are strict. So I came here and I was like, I got freedom. I was intrigued by the women.
Right,
You know,
right,
the corner.
right.
I got into Coupe de Villes my first year,
Right.
essentially with a napkin, you know, because it
right.
was so lenient.
Right, yeah.
And I was getting after it.
Right.
Okay, I was not focused on school.
Yeah.
And I paid for it.
100%.
Let me throw the whole academic piece to you. How did you embrace it? Was it a challenge?
Yeah, it was a challenge.
Okay.
Initially, it was just me having that mindset of that I need to be on the football field, so I'm going to do whatever it takes academically to make sure I can play.
Got it. That's badass.
Yeah. Once you start getting into your sophomore year and you start thinking about your major, that kind of transitions because now like the classes get more serious and they get more focused and you really got to know what you like or else you'll be taking classes for, you know, that just don't appeal to you and they're that much harder because they're not, you know, they're not of interest to you. But like I said, UVA we had tutors, we had support.
What'd you study?
I studied anthropology.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
anthropology. And I tell you what, you know, I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Me either.
No idea what I wanted to do. All I knew at that time was that
Staying on the field.
I wanted to play football.
Yeah.
I wanted to play football. And I took a lot of different classes from a lot of different backgrounds. And anthropology, that was the class, that was the course of work that kind of appealed to me. I liked it. I enjoyed taking those classes, learning about the evolution of society, people, and culture. So that's kind of what I stuck with and ran with.
I guess technically I was sociology and English, but the reality was I was pretty girls, cold beer, and UVA sports.
Yeah. So, you know, hindsight, when I look back on my college experience, I think that I could have been more focused.
Me too.
As an athlete or as a student, you know, there were so many distractions, and of course, yeah, you know, girls, you're partying, it's fun. And it really took away from what I could have done on the field, but also in life.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Like if I had gone to UVA maybe like 5 or 8 years later,
Right.
where like I had gotten all that out of me,
Right, exactly.
and then I would have gotten so much from it.
Exactly.
And I still feel like I got a lot of
from
it, but I feel like what I got out of it was more like the social piece and the rite of passage, as opposed to like the nitty-gritty X's and O's from an academic standpoint.
Well, the social piece is important.
It's important.
That's very important.
Yeah, right.
That's how you maneuver through life.
That's right.
Working with people. You know, it's important that you learn those skills.
And you have that skill.
Oh, thank you.
You got the gift of human connection. You are so well-spoken. You know, you're a conversationalist. You're confident. You're charming.
Thank you, Jerry.
How did you talk about the evolution of you, the athlete, and then the National Football League, and what was on the horizon after the 4 years at UVA.
Yeah, so I think I ended with me being able to play my freshman year, 5th game of the season against Florida State. I played sparingly on and off. I think that season I had about 13 catches for about, I don't know, 100 yards, something like that, maybe less. So I got experience.
Did you regret not having a red shirt in hindsight?
No.
Okay.
No.
Respect?
No. I was definitely ready to play.
Okay.
You know? I think injuries set me back a bit, you know. Sophomore year, I played a reserve role.
Okay.
So I played behind Fontel Mines.
Yeah.
And I just kind of came in maybe 7 to 10 plays a game.
Okay.
Stats were kind of 20 catches, I don't know. Not many yards. But I knew that my junior and senior seasons would be my years. You know, that's when the Deion Williams, Fontel Mines, they were transitioning out to the next phase of their lives professionally. And then me and a guy like Kevin Ogletree, we would transition into that next starting role. So I was very excited about my junior season. I came in, I felt good. They wanted to feature me in the offense, and we had a lot of plays to feature me in that offense. Started off the season pretty well. Ended up getting hurt 4th game in. I broke my hand, 3rd metacarpal. That kind of set me back. I was out for 4 games, really 5, because when I came back, they didn't throw me any balls that first game. So it kind of set me back stat-wise and exposure-wise. However, the game after I came back, I went on a terror, you know, 5 catches, touchdown against Miami and against Wake Forest, just to kind of, to show people that I'm here,
right.
who Maurice Covington is. So I finished up a good campaign my junior season. We ended up going to the Gator Bowl, which was a good experience as well, played against Texas Tech. But then we came into the senior season, high expectations. Unfortunately, in camp that year, I pulled my hamstring pretty bad. Wasn't supposed to play the first game against USC, but did. It was kind of gimpy out there. Just had a kind of a career plagued of injuries, but still was able to finish off pretty strong stat-wise, decent enough to get some attention from NFL teams and scouts. So went into pro day. Didn't get invited to the combine. Went into pro day. Ran a 4.5, jumped a 40-inch vertical.
Dang. All the measurables.
All the
and
measurables.
Then some.
And then some.
Yeah.
Caught everything.
Especially with your height.
Looked really good.
Yeah.
Looked really good. I had a lot of teams calling me with a lot of interest. I was thinking I was still a very draftable guy. In my mind, I was going to get drafted mid-rounds, 4th, 5th, 6th round. Was what my agent was hearing. Long story short, that didn't happen. For whatever reason, I ended up getting an opportunity to go and try out for the Bears.
Okay. Is that Grossman?
Yes.
Is the QB?
Yeah.
Okay.
First day, pulled my hamstring.
Dang.
Pulled my hamstring. They kept me around for a little bit, but they ended up releasing me. Had the opportunity to go and again try out for the Giants. The time difference wasn't enough for me to properly recover, and of course I'm giving my all.
Right.
Re-aggravated that same hamstring, and they sent me packing that same day. So that's kind of here I am, a couple months after my senior season, and I find myself kind of back at home in my childhood bedroom, trying to figure out what's next in my life. So.
Neil Williamson, welcome to the program. James Watson, a UVA guy, says, I concur with you guys. 90% of what I learned the most out of UVA was social. However, nothing beats a who. Sometimes I wish I could have spent more time learning and taken all the academic aspects instead of what I did. James, I feel the same way. Jessica Bailey, giving you props. Good job, cousin. You're crushing it right now. Andy Jenkins watching the program. Folks up and down the eastern seaboard, including New York and Baltimore, watching right now. Derek Crawford says what up. DJ Bell says what up. Andy Jenkins says what up.
What's up, guys?
Give this guy some love. Give it a like. Give it a share on any of the channels you're watching.
Yeah.
What is it like being roughly 22, and being like, shit, what am I going to do now?
It was. You find out later on it was a depressing time. Scary times, right? You worked your life pretty much for this,
right?
To make this dream a reality, right? And then you have the chance to do that, right? And it doesn't happen. Like, you fall short, you get injured, now you're back at home. So it was really, really hard, man. I worked out every day, but for a while I just kind of spent time in my room. watching HGTV or doing things like that.
I love
for jobs.
HGTV. I love HGTV.
Just trying to really figure out what was next, man. Yeah.
And what was next?
So,
because you're a competitor.
Yeah. So, I gave football another run.
Okay.
I went down to Miami to train. I got a new agent. I went down there and trained my butt off, but my hamstring never really got right. We tried a whole bunch of different things, from acupuncture and stuff like that, but it was never ever really the same. Had a couple of CFL teams interested in me. For whatever reason at that time in my life, I just wasn't interested in going to the CFL. So I passed on those options. Had some AFL teams interested. Wasn't interested in that. No NFL teams came knocking again. I guess what was going around the league was that I was injury prone, so nobody wanted to take another chance on me. So went down and trained in Florida for 4 months and ended up coming right back home again.
One of my super tight homies at UVA was Muffin Curry, AC, and he and I were same dorm. He was first right, I was first left in Dabney. He and Jermaine Winborn were roommates. Mm-hmm. J-Dubs played for the Ravens as safety. He ended up going to the Montreal Alouettes and played a long time in the Alouettes. Mm-hmm. And now I think he's in the 757 in the Hampton school system as a coach and as an educator. Mm-hmm. Why not the CFL path?
At the time, I didn't think of the CFL as like something that I wanted to do, like achieve or do.
Okay.
And for me, it was the NFL.
Okay.
And I didn't know much about the CFL. And
because you can make some bank.
Had I known what I know now, or even 10 years ago, yeah, I definitely would have went to the CFL. But I just didn't have the education. Nobody was pushing me in that direction. I just didn't know. So for me, I'm like, NFL or bust. That's just how I felt about the situation.
You're a competitor. You're getting a lot of props from the people. Claire Sullenberger, good friend of this program. Mo, love spending my lunch with you. And then she gives you a little jab here and says, hey, "Go Claire. Hokies." Oh, come on, Claire.
Erase her off
Yeah,
the feed.
none of that right there. I'm going to delete your comment, Claire. Thank you for watching the show, Claire. Randy Lowe Garrett, Bull City, brother.
Yes.
Alex Russian.
Bull
Let's
City.
go, Mo.
Yes, LSU.
Give it a like, give it a share. If you want to relay a comment to Mo, I'm happy to do that. You got folks watching outside Chicago right now and in Nashville. Let me throw this to you. You are a competitor. I love that about you. Business seems like a natural fit for a competitor like you. Throw it open-ended to start.
Yeah, it took a while to get to this point, but it is. I kind of think of business and sport as one of the same. You compete in both to be the best at what you do, right? And it's a daily grind. Whatever you do, it's a daily grind, right? So I do think of them one and the same, and I'm glad that here we are 15 years later, I figured that out.
Why don't we, and Ray Razors Cadell watching the program right now, Roger Voyenze, the real estate magnate, is watching right now, Alberta Miles, great job, Mo, giving you some props.
Thank you.
Talk to us about the entrepreneur, the businessman, who you are today.
Yeah, so I'll kind of give you the rundown of how I got to where I am today. So after kind of being back at home, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I knew I wanted to work in sports in some kind of capacity. I didn't know what that was at the time. I actually reached out to my academic advisor, my old academic advisor, Adrian Herwing, and kind of just...
That's at UVA?
He was at UVA.
Okay.
Yeah, he was my academic coordinator when I played at UVA, and he was still there when I reached back to him. I'll back out to him. So I reached out to him with this heartfelt email, just kind of laying out like, this is what I want to do. This is what has transpired over the last year of my life. Can you help me? Can you point me in the right direction? Immediately he responded and said, Mo, thank you for this email. And I just got this email from LSU. They have an internship available working with football on the academic side and career development side, but I feel like it fits something that you would be really, really, really good at. And I'm like, okay, cool, yeah. So I applied, and I promise you not, within 2 weeks I was down. I was on my way to Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Fast,
I was on my way heading down to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So I got to go down there and in the heat, in the swamp, work at an amazing football school.
Like the Pinnacle, right?
Oh, my gosh.
Was that Les Miles then?
Les Miles,
okay.
Yeah. So I got to work closely with Les Miles and their coaching staff.
Right after national championship? Or right before?
This was after. So this was 2010.
Okay, so you're at the Pinnacle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yep. So I get down there, and my first year is an internship type thing where, I'm just kind of supporting and helping guys set up classes. I'm class checking. I just helping the academic coordinators with their day-to-day operations with the football players, setting up some career development things and some community work, getting the guys involved in the community and helping out with the kids and things like that. And it was fun. I enjoyed doing those things. I was learning, kind of figuring out what I wanted to do. At the end of that year internship, the head of the department said, "Hey Mo, we love having you here, but we can't keep you on as an intern anymore. The only way you can stay on is if you get into grad school and start a program." And prior to that, I wasn't thinking grad school at all. I was just thinking getting some experience in the sports field. So I was like, okay, how much time do I have? You have 5 months to figure it out, pretty much.
Dang.
The summer. So it was like April. He said, you have until August to figure it out. So I'm like, okay. So I immediately went and took the GRE, right? My grades were decent at UVA, but not like, I'm gonna be honest, they weren't a 3.0 GPA, but they were decent. Yeah. So I went and talked to the head of the department that I wanted to get into, which was the sport management department. And I said, look, here are my scores, here are my grades. I know they're not meeting you guys' standard here, but I'm willing to pay for my own summer school courses and prove my worth. And if I do that, will you let me into the program? Absolutely, Mo, absolutely. Long story short, I killed the program, made A's in both the classes, got a part-time job to pay for them, and they begged me to come into the program. Awesome. They thought I added so much value to that program. They pretty much said, "Mo, you're coming to the program, right? You're getting in." Yes, I'm in the program.
That's awesome.
So
that make you feel good?
Yeah, it made me feel really good.
Yeah,
really, really, really good. Really, really good. So I got to, I got to start a master's program. Well, I finished my master's program, but I got to start it at that point. And still work doing the same things I was doing, academic advising, career development with a lot of top-notch athletes. Of course, LSU is a big, well-known school.
Who were some of the badass athletes coming out then?
Oh, man. Patrick Peterson, Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, all those guys, Stephen Ridley. I mean, the list goes on. So I got to work with some top-notch talent, man. And
was Odell like he was?
Interact with them on a daily. So then for me, it was just like, oh, it wasn't what it is now. It wasn't like Odell Beckham. For me, it was just like, oh, hey man, hey Odell.
Right.
They were like mentees, but also like buds and friends of mine.
Sure.
So I didn't look at them with this star status like everybody does now, because I was just in the trenches with him every day.
Did you know he was going to be what he was now then?
I knew he could be.
Yeah.
I knew he could be.
Because he ain't that tallest guy.
He's not, but he's
Was he like 6'1"?
He's not the tallest, but his hands are as big as mine.
Okay.
He has very long arms.
He's got hops.
And he's fast.
Yeah.
He's super fast, and he's smooth, and he's savvy, and he loves football. They love football down there. They really, really love football.
Do you love football?
I love football.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you love football, Jerry?
I don't love it like you do. I love business.
Yeah. I love business, too.
I know you do.
Yeah.
I know. So you're coming out of LSU.
So, so long story short, the next year, I am starting to look for jobs now, right? And UVA has a position here. I'm like, how awesome is that to go back to my alma mater and work? So I called Adrian again. I applied for the position. I would say 2.5 weeks later, I was here on the interview. Another 2 weeks later, I was on my way here to work full time. Awesome. And UVA also allowed me to finish my grad program. Well, LSU allowed me to finish my grad program remotely. So I moved here in October 2012. I finished my program December 2012. And I got to work at UVA as an academic coordinator, helping guys figure out what they wanted to do as far as major selection, also career development, helping them figure out what they want to do long term and develop the necessary skills to be successful long term. Is what I started to do at UVA, and I did that for 3 years, 9 months, until I transitioned again.
And where'd you transition? Let's give some props to the people that are watching. Anthony Cooper, my guy, Mo Cov. Lee Clark is watching literally in Moorhead, Minnesota. We got folks watching in Minnesota right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome. Yeah. Wait,
yeah.
you're North Dakota, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's North Dakota. Give it a like and a share. If you want to relay anything to Mo, I'm happy to do it. You got the CEO and founder of CVille Hop on Tours watching right now. 2 real estate magnates watching right now. One from Roy Wheeler, one from Remax. You got folks in finance watching right now. All right, so you transition again. This time you transition to, is it to finance?
Okay. Yes. So what I had begun to see after working at LSU and UVA was that a lot of guys I mentored and guys who were friends of mine would come back after playing 4, 5, 6, 7 years in the NFL, NBA, and had nothing to show for it, and that meaning financially and professionally. And for me, that was just like a big no. It really kind of made me it made me sad to see that. Here you are making millions of dollars, and now you don't have anything to show for it. Like, this can't be.
Why do you think that is?
So I think you get the wrong crowd around you, right? And you start to spend at a level that you can't maintain. The average career is 3.5 years, right? And if you're spending that money at the level of somebody who's making $10 to $12 million a year, you're going to run out super fast. So these guys are just kind of like,
Think my career is going to go forever?
Think their career is going to go forever, but also just don't have the right support around them to help them make smart decisions, and also think about the future, right? So they're living in the now and not thinking about what's next, per se. Now you can see more guys starting to do more things, thinking about the future, starting to start foundations and invest in businesses. But at this time, it just wasn't happening, and I just saw one too many times good friends of mine and mentees just kind of that not be the case. They had no money, and they had no idea what they want to do long term. So they were coming back to me. Here I am, academic coordinator at UVA, and they're like, "Look, Mo, this is my situation. Like, what do I do?" So I found myself.
What do they do?
It's at that point you kind of gotta
start over, right?
Recenter yourself, right? Because you've been on this high. You're this person, and you've been accustomed to this certain life. But now it's not the reality anymore, right? So you got to humble yourself a little bit. And the biggest challenge most guys have is humbling themselves. Like going from star status to like now I'm like the average Joe. I really got to work my way back up the ladder again. So it was really just kind of getting them back to that mindset of, okay, look, we got to start over, and you're going to have to work just as hard as you worked in football to get to wherever you want to go, right? And a lot of it too was, you have connections now. Like now I know people. I know people who are looking for certain, employees in this position or that position, so I can point them in the right directions. I can get them prepared for interviews. I can get them all the skills needed to be successful, once they get that opportunity, that job opportunity. So it's just starting back at square one, man, and just being there to support them and push them and encourage them and tell them that you can do this, right? And also you can lean on your name a little bit, but you got to work hard. You got to work hard. Yeah.
You have I feel like you have vision, you have humility, you have education, you're honest, you're real.
Thank you.
How's that conversation with the folks that are like, they're out of, maybe it's a blown knee, maybe they got cut?
Yeah.
How's that conversation? I bet you that ain't easy.
It's, I've always found it that the guys listen to me.
Yeah.
Because they know that I've been there.
Speaking from experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, I can see when it's going in one ear and out the other ear.
Understood.
Right. It's kind of hard in that first year to really grasp the concept that this is not my life anymore. So it takes guys a year or two to really kind of get through that lull or that depression or whatever it is they're going through to kind of turn the page. Right. Some guys it happens a little bit faster, but on average it takes about a year or two. And there's some really hard conversations that happen. Tears, hugging, patting on the back, picking up. Some real heartfelt conversations that happen, but they need to happen. And somebody needs to have it with them. And most times it's not their friends, it's not their family, because they still have their hands out. They're asking for something. So it has to come from somebody.
Is the family the worst or the friends?
Family.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. Unfortunately. But there are things you can do. And when you're in it, before it starts, there are things you can do to kind of help alleviate those situations.
I would think a natural one would be having a finance gatekeeper.
That?
Contact this guy. Mm-hmm. I don't do that.
That's it right there.
And then make that guy the bad guy.
That's it right there. That's it right there. So I'm seeing all this stuff, and I quickly realized, I want to do something more. I want to help these guys on a whole another level, which is why I transitioned over to wealth management. I joined a local team here in Charlottesville, Reed Wealth, a great independent wealth advisory firm.
On West Main.
Right on West Main. I started as a financial consultant, just kind of learning the ropes, but also bringing in clientele. Immediately started working with NFL guys, helping them manage their finances, invest wisely, save smartly, plan for the future. But also put in those safety precautions that we were just talking about, like when friends and family are asking for money. Okay, this is your budget, right? We know what your budget is. If you want to give so-and-so money, that's okay, that's fine. But it has to be within this range. And if anything above that, you point them to me, and I'll be the bad guy, and I'll tell them no, they can't have that. So, we did things like that, but also a passion of mine was helping them figure out what was next, like what's next in your life. So we would have a lot of conversations to kind of figure out what their passions were, so we can start working on those things. So that way, when they're done playing, it's just a turnkey solution.
What are some good examples of that?
Without getting too much into it,
sure.
And I'll just speak kind of broadly. So you have guys who may want to get into who want to do nonprofit work and work in the community. So I've started some, we started some foundations, and then guys, when they're done playing, they kind of fully transition into those that are they're getting reasonable donations to the foundation, and they're contributing a lot to the community and the areas they serve, and they're able to kind of dive into that after they're done, or just like a business. So I'm trying not to speak too specifically here, but I'll just, again, speak broadly. Guys have good business ideas, right? So we'll get those business ideas going early on, get them growing, and when they're done playing, they can just step in as this position. They have those things kind of already happening for them. Or investing, right? Investing in alternative investments, right? So you invest in, tech or whatever have you, real estate. You want to be a real estate developer. So, I have good friends who are just like in real estate. Real estate is huge. I mean, you're in real estate, you know that. Yeah. So I'm putting them in contact with my good
passive
friends.
income, the best kind of income.
Passive income, but they love it. They just love like the idea of being a real estate developer. What kind of goes into it. So I just kind of turn them in those directions. So that way, when they're done, they know what they want to. Like we put together plans, so they know exactly what they want to do, and how that will look once their career expires.
Do you like the finance and the business, and you're a CEO of your company, a founder of your company? Do you like that? Compare and contrast that to football. I bet you there are a hell of a lot of similarities with what it takes to be successful.
It's discipline, right? Because when you're the CEO, it's like it's your baby. You're running it. If you don't get up in the morning, it's not going to run. Right. Because it's up to you to make it go. Same with football. Like if you don't catch, I'm a wide receiver, right? If I'm not running and training every day, right, and I'm not catching 100 balls a day, when I go to make that big play, I can't make it because I haven't put myself in a position to be successful. So in business, for me, it's like you got to always keep moving. You got to always keep doing things, working hard to kind of put yourself in situations to be successful, right? And the harder you work, and I kind of posted this today on my social media, I really do believe this. I feel like the harder you work, the more luck you have.
The luckier you get.
Yeah, the luckier you get.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That is so true. Drew Simpson watching right now. Matt
Mike
Mitchell,
Hill.
he's the man.
Hey, man, yeah.
He's the man. Matt Mitchell, DJ Bell,
That's right.
Charlottesville Albemarle Transit's marketing director is watching right now. His name is Kyle Irvin. He has questions for you.
Okay.
You've talked about how the guys get through the struggle surrounding an injury. Some questions for you, Maurice. How do you manage stressful or challenging events in life that affect your business? What's the secret to bouncing back and motivating yourself to have laser vision? And what drives you and makes you most fulfilled in your business? Good questions right there.
Wow, those are a lot of good questions. How do I stay positive?
Because you're a positive dude.
I just think that's it. I'm just a positive person, honestly. Every situation, I understand bad things happen, but I always look for those bad things to I don't look for them to, but they always make me see the good, like what could be, or why did this happen? Okay, it happened to make me think this way. I just kind of find the good in every bad situation. I'm naturally positive. I can't really tell you like how it happens. It's just I wake up and I'm just like, let's go. I'm a natural motivator. I like to motivate. I like to inspire people. I don't have like a particular thing that I do that makes me more positive than that. I like watching other positive people. So I watch a lot of inspirational speakers, right? I like to listen to podcasts.
Me too.
Right? Yeah. I like to read books, right? I guess those things help me become more positive.
What are some of your favorite podcasts?
So right now I'm listening to I like Gary Vee.
I love Gary
really
Vee.
like Gary Vee.
Yeah, that's my go-to.
Yeah, and then Eric Thomas. They call him the hip hop preacher.
Okay.
I'm
writing that down. Eric Thomas.
Eric Thomas. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna check that one out. You're getting some props. Anthony says nothing but love and respect. You were a great mentor.
Thank you.
Give it a like and a share. I'll throw this to you. Like if your inner circle does not inspire you to greatness. And if your inner circle doesn't inspire you to be positive, then you don't have an inner circle, you have an inner cage. And I feel like I literally try to surround myself with people that are as positive or as more positive. And the folks that don't embody that mindset, I just weed them out.
100%. 100%. I agree with that. And also, I've come to realize recently,
because some people are natural born complainers.
They are.
You know what I'm saying?
They are. And when you surround, it's funny because, I've surrounded myself around a lot of positive thinking people, very successful people. And it's a different type of friendship than what you had when you were in college or in your younger 20s, when it's just like your friends, your buds, you guys hang out, you do everything together. Now my friends are spread across the country.
Right.
It's hard. Excuse me, I really see those guys, but we talk via text all the time. So to be honest, like now it's just like a lot lonelier, right? It's lonelier when you're trying to drive and build something and be successful because you don't have those everyday like face interactions. But it's still good because we're able to communicate via text and those kind of things. But it's just a different dynamic. This is what I've kind of noticed over the last couple of years here.
Bellamy Brown, who's running for Charlottesville City Council, watching right now. Bellamy, I love you. I love you. John Kluge, the social entrepreneur, watching right now. Give it a like, give it a share on any of the channels that you're watching. You have Hedge Fund across the street watching right now. What are the 1, 3, and 5 year goals for Mo Covington? Because I know you're a goal guy.
I'm a grand scheme guy. Actually.
Okay.
So I would 1 year goal. So 1 year from now, I would love to have a partner in Covington Sports. I would love to hire a couple of agents in Covington Sports. Also, I would love to see a couple of projects that I'm working on kind of come to fruition here and really be local, but also a national name.
Love that.
Yeah. 3, I would love to have kind of like an operating business, with multiple employees. Multiple staff kind of all working hand in hand for
vertically
the
integrated.
Integrative.
Yeah.
100% integrative.
Yeah. That's what we're doing.
And then I would love to also see these 2 big projects I'm working on, one of which be very, 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 very national recognized.
Is this where I try to ask about it?
So you can, me and, so you guys know Hunter Smith. He owns Champion Brewery here in town. He also owns the Brasserie Saison on the downtown mall. We have partnered on a very special project. We are so excited to share this project with you guys. It won't be today, unfortunately, but in the very near future, if I had to guess, I would say about a month and a half, 2. But we think it could be huge. We think it could be really good for Virginia, the community, and then we also could think it could grow very big nationwide. So we're excited about that. I texted Hunter this morning. He gave me the okay to kind of give a little teaser about it, but we partnered. We've been talking for a year, trying to figure out what we wanted to do, and we finally had this bright idea kind of come to fruition earlier this year, and we've been working hard on it. So we're excited to kind of share that with you guys soon.
I love that. I love it. You're getting a lot of props. I'm going to get to that props. Elliot Harding's watching the show. He's the attorney who's now challenging Creed Deeds in the 25th State Senate District. Thank you for watching, Elliot. We wish you luck. You have an open invitation, Elliot, to join us on the program. Derek Cowherd.
Hey, Derek.
I am so impressed with Maurice Covington. We are all such a long way here in Baton Rouge, but Big Walt and I are proud of the team, and we put together. We had a great time. Hopefully, he'll hire me one day to return the favor.
Absolutely. D-money. Yes, sir.
Talk to us about alternative investing and how it applies to you potentially.
So alternative investing, that's just kind of stepping outside of the box, right, from what your ordinary stocks, bonds.
So are we talking like private equity?
I'm actually talking more of tech.
Okay.
Startup.
Okay.
And things of that nature.
Okay.
I kind of got into that through a network here in town. I can't remember the name of the network now.
Okay. The Community Investment Collaborative?
No.
Okay.
They're located right here downtown.
I'll think about it. It's a tech network?
It's an investment group network.
Okay.
Where you it's kind of like Shark Tank, right?
Okay.
You kind of all come together. They have these people kind of pitch their ideas, and and you're able to decide if you want to invest or not. You can invest with people in the room with you.
Is it Charlottesville Angel Network?
There you go,
Okay.
Angel Network. I'm
I
sorry.
Googled that. I
Yep,
didn't know it.
there
I
it is, the
Googled
Angel
it.
Network. So that's kind of how I got exposed to that.
Okay. There's some heavy hitters in that room.
There are.
Ludwig Kutner in that room.
Yeah. So you really can't talk about who's in the room. But
Right. Sorry. I'm sorry. There's some heavy hitters in that room.
But I found that very fascinating. And when I'm talking to my guys and they're looking for like different things to do and different things to get into outside of your standard like portfolio investments or real estate stuff, that is kind of where we turn. We try to look for groups like that to kind of hear about new innovative projects that are coming up, and then we have a group of people who I consult with who think who help me kind of break down these deals and see if they're a good idea or not. But that's what I mean when I speak on alternative investments.
Do you look at yourself? I mean, I feel like I know the answer to this, man. You were like screaming and just like wear it well, like leader. I mean, you're just like a leader. You are cool. Yeah. You're collected. You're well spoken. I mean, you're just the freaking man here.
Man, thanks, man.
Do you embrace it? Some people don't like to embrace it.
It's taken a while.
Okay.
It's taken a while, and it kind of comes from reassurance. I mean, we all need it sometimes,
sure.
Right? Sometimes you kind of get caught up in your own head, so you think you're not the person that you are or you could be. But when I get reassurance from people, family, friends, people like you, that really makes me kind of step into that role a little bit more.
Don't you feel like, and I struggle with this from time to time, and my wife is a phenomenal resource here, being an entrepreneur and being a number one at a business where like 3 or 4 people rely on their mortgage and their livelihood and their bill pay, being an entrepreneur is a lonely, like, you are in your head.
All the time.
You're like, there's some dark moments.
All the time.
Throw that to you. And I asked this question because I try to learn. How do you manage vulnerability?
I don't know.
Okay.
So you've been doing this longer than I have.
11 years.
Entrepreneurship,
yeah.
right? I've been working in an entrepreneurial lifestyle for about 4, but I've been doing my own thing for, the better half of this year.
Okay.
So it's all fairly new. It is all internalized. I do have good people who I can talk to and share information with. I know what to share and what not to share because some things are just sensitive. But at some point you're able to share some things. But for me, man, like I said, I like to stay positive. I like to think positive. I take things one by one. I don't put I take them as by importance. So what's the most important thing I need to get done today? I'll get that done. I kind of work myself down the list. And when I need to kind of blow off steam, the things that I like to do, I like to go hiking. Dude, I'll go hike the Humpback Rock
I saw
trail.
a beautiful photo of you and your daughter.
Yeah. I'll go do that, and I'll just sit there, and any kind of stress or tension that I'm having, I'll just let it go up there. It works for me. That's what works for me. I just let it go, and when I leave that mountain, all that stress is gone, right? And I can refocus myself. So I have things that I do to kind of center myself that have worked well for me, and then just staying positive and keep, I make sure what I put into my body, meaning content and what I watch and what I hear on a daily basis, is all positive. Like literally when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I see on my Instagram is positive, inspiration, inspiring messages. It's not like, whatever else other people look at. I see inspiration. So,
what scares the shit out of you in life?
Nothing.
Really? Love that.
Nothing.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to make a sad scene out of this, but one of the main reasons what drove me to go ahead and start and do my own thing was the passing of my son that happened in December. That was literally the scariest thing that could ever happen to me, right? And that happened, right? And here I am, still standing, still pushing forward, still strong, and wanting to honor his name, the Covington name, more than ever. So after that, I don't have any more fears, dude. I'm fearless. I'm just out here grinding, doing good work, and working hard.
How'd you handle that? So you're a rock star.
Yeah, it inspired me, dude. It inspired me. I could have took it the opposite way, but for me, it inspired me. It pushed me to just do more and to not be afraid, because the worst thing happened to me already. Like, what else worse could happen? So it's inspired me to grind and do more.
What's fatherhood like with your daughter?
Amazing. It's the best thing ever.
She's adorable.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And she just reminds me of me so much, and she loves doing things that I love to do.
She's daddy's girl?
She's daddy's girl, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. So I took her hiking for the first time this Father's Day. She absolutely loved it. She talks about going back. She's very athletic, but she's also very girly, so it's like a good balance. But and she loves her daddy, and we just have a great time. It's awesome.
When you go up there and you're hiking and Humpback is beautiful, what's it like for you? Do you like, oh my gosh, I got to be careful here because she could fall? Or are you like, you know what, let's let her fall, let's let her figure it out?
So yeah, when we're hiking up, I'm aware. Of course, as a dad, you're aware.
Sure.
But if she falls, if I see the terrain is a terrain where she could fall and still be okay, let her fall and get back up. You know. But
Love that.
Yeah. Let her fall and get back up. But the rockier kind of terrain closer to the top of the mountain, I had to carry her up that stuff. But I'm more of the dad that I'm a little tougher. I'm a little harder. She falls and scratches her knee. Okay, you're okay. Get up, wipe it off. And she knows that. And she even tells me, she says, Daddy, I'm tough because of you. You made me tough. So that's just how I am, man.
There is nothing. James Watson, thank you for sharing the feed. Yeah. John White and Keswick, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
There's nothing. Laura Fonner, the chef and soon-to-be owner at Dooner's Restaurants, watching right now. There is nothing that I love more than like when I get home, dude, and I effing grind. I'm clocking 70 hours a week easy. I've taken one vacation in 11 years. I have 2 kids. I got my 16-month-old son and this 11-year-old business. Mm-hmm. And this business is like a kid. It needs food, which is revenue. Mm-hmm. It needs to be nurtured and matured. We have taken one vacation I have in 11 years, and there's our honeymoon. We went to Hawaii, and we came back pregnant. So that was like another effing row we were going down. Dude, there's nothing after clocking 70 hours or like getting here at 6 in the morning and get home at 7:30. There's nothing that melts my heart more than seeing my kid recognize me walk in the door and smile. And then I'm just like.
And it's only going to get better, dude.
Yeah? How old is your daughter?
She's 4. She'll be 5 in October.
Okay, and why does it get better? Because she's more of a person?
She's more of a person, right? And you start to see some of, I guess, your wife's characteristics, your own characteristics in her, She'll start to kind of develop her own identity, which you'll grow to love, So it's just cool. And then, it's the conversations you'll have will be a lot more mature. And sometimes you'll be shocked by what comes out of their mouth.
Yeah.
Really? How do you even know that? And it's kind of cool now. I can sit and actually have a real conversation with her. We sit and we talk, like literally talk like me and you are talking right now.
That's awesome.
Which, that's impressive. That's cool to me to do.
So what's the game plan? Like, for me, it's like, I hope he's a better version of me.
100%.
My son.
100%. So this is one thing that I've always said, from LSU to UVA to where I'm at now in life. I see my guys who I've mentored along the way, and they always say, Mo, I want to be like you when I grow up. I'm like, no, don't be me. Be better than me.
Nice.
So, 100%, I want my daughter to be a lot better than I am.
You ever think about things like legacy and your legacy?
100%.
Throw it to you.
Yeah. So, of course, growing the Covington name is something that's been a passion of mine. But more so, I've been inspired after my son passed. So now I'm just like, I want to build this great legacy with the Covington name, but also honoring my son the best way I can. And my children being able to share it with their children and their children and their children, and for everybody to kind of know about the story, how authentic and real it was, and what it took to get there, and being inspiring to others. I want it to be inspired to others, so it lets you know that no matter the circumstance in your life, no matter what's going on, you can always pick yourself up, work hard, and great things can happen for you.
I love it. Joe Sanford's watching right now. Monticello High School's finest.
Hey, yeah.
I think, Joe, a preferred walk-on at UVA. Yep. Mm-hmm. Finished your career as a wide receiver with the Minuteman of UMass. Now coaching quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Well, he says you're looking fresh.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you.
Moco. Looking fresh right now. God, Mom and Dad got to be so proud of you.
Thanks, man. They are.
You keep tight? You keep in contact?
I do. And growing up, I had the dad who was a great father, but was never very lovey-dovey.
Same,
right?
Yeah.
Who never would kind of say "I love you," that kind of thing. Which was, it wasn't.
I think my dad has said "I love you" to me maybe 8 times in my life.
Right. So a few years back, I don't think it was things after I had kind of transitioned from LSU to UVA, and I was doing a lot of things at UVA. And my dad sent me a text, and he just said, "I just want you to know I love you, son.
Wow.
You really made my life worth living." And I broke down, cried. That really meant a lot to me. And ever since then, he always says, "I love you" now. But that moment. Why?
Because he's getting older?
I guess so. I think they get softer when they get older. Yeah. I think they get a lot softer.
Well, maybe they're seeing that there is maybe, I'm not trying to get morbid, but life is precious, and that there's an end on the horizon potentially.
Yeah, potentially.
How would you raise your daughter differently than how you were raised, or would you go to the same way?
I'm going to raise them essentially the same way that I learned, but also I have a lot of information now, a lot of things that I've kind of picked up and learned along the way that my parents just didn't have, experiences that my parents didn't get to get. So I'm able to share a lot more with her in regards to the world, the big picture, from life standpoint, business, school, just all. I've walked through life. I really have walked through life. And I just feel like the information that you get from experience is so valuable. And unfortunately, I mean, I grew up well. My parents did the best they could with me. They did a great job. But now I have so much more information to share with her, and I think she's going to be that much better because of it.
I love it. You filled an hour. You've made this easy. Where can we find out more about you? Where can we follow you? Everything that's on the horizon with what you got going on.
Absolutely. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can follow me at Mo Covington. That's my personal Instagram. If you want to follow my business page, that's Covington Sports. Again, that's at Mo Covington or at Covington Sports. On Facebook, I'm Maurice Covington. And then my website is www.mocovingtonsports.com. Check me out there for all the latest news on Covington Sports.
I love it. I love it. We'll archive the interview in totality on ilovecville.com. We will strip the audio and turn it into a podcast on Apple iTunes. We will syndicate this across our network for 30 days. This dude is the man. Rick Ness says, what up?
What's up? That's my dad.
That's your dad? Yeah. He says, I am not soft, Lo.
I love you, Dad.
Where is your dad watching right now?
He's in Durham, North Carolina.
He goes, I'm not soft right now. What's up, Rick? You crushed it. You think Charlottesville's your home long term?
I love it here, man.
Yeah.
I love it. I don't foresee moving anytime soon.
Same.
Great community, very supportive. I love it here. Yeah.
I'm truly, truly grateful for your most precious commodity, your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We close the program the same way every single time. We ask everybody that is watching the show, please, to embody the golden rule. We don't make it about religion. We just make it about treating other people how you want to be treated yourself. And if you treat other people how you want to be treated yourself, it will have an incredible positive viral impact across the community. It's the golden rule, it's the golden rule, and it's the golden rule. Tomorrow, Delegate David Toscano is on the program. He has 7 terms in the House of Delegates in the Commonwealth of Virginia. 7 terms. This guy's a legend. He's going to be sitting on set with us to spotlight his career, what's next. Richard Smith says, I love you, little bro.
That's my brother. I love you too,
still
man.
coming in. I hope you guys enjoyed the program. I thoroughly enjoyed Maurice Covington. We will see you tomorrow at 12:30.
Thank you. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
One more thing. We're going to get what we call the hero photo.
Okay, yeah.
That's for the package here.
Yeah.
Your page was blowing up.